All right, so we're going to do the week of board and train with Doc, like we discussed. Doc's got a little bit of stuff going for him as far as he's been here before with me and learned a few things, and he listens a little bit better after that stay. But you're getting a little bit extra bang for your buck. I've got Jason here who has worked with Doc
Hello.
and knows Doc from last time. He's gonna be doing some training with me as well, kind of an apprenticeship, I guess you'd call it. I've got some notes here that I'm making for Jason to reinforce the skills that we work on as well, and I'll send you a picture of those as well. But you'll have two of us working with Doc. So we should have a pretty good week, and Doc did well when he was here last time. So just to kind of go over the basics of the first things that we're going to work with him on, we're just going to keep going. We're going to calm before anything. That's going to be the main thing that we do with him at all times, is he doesn't get to do anything before he's calm. I know we talked a little bit about that as well. So we're going to start off here on day one with leash work. And basically I do two kinds of healing. I do a hard heel where the dog is on your hip. If you were going into a store or somebody's house and it's not okay for him to sniff around over here or go over there and look around, you want him on your hip, basically a hard heel. And then I also do a proximity heel, which is the way most people walk their dogs, give them 8, 10, 12 feet of leash, and as long as they're not pulling on the leash and paying attention, then they can kind of do their own thing. And when I'm doing the leash work, I'm going to change my pace and my direction and my tempo all the time. And what I'm trying to do is get the dog to be focused on me and knowing where I'm going instead of his impulse of wanting to go here or there and sniff that out, check that out. I'm also going to reinforce positively him checking in, meaning sometimes I'll stop and won't say anything to him, and I'll just wait for him to look at me like, hey, what are we doing next? And I'll reward him for that, get that to be a learned behavior to where he's checking in with the person on the other end of the leash, and that'll go miles to all the other things that we're going to teach him while he's here and work with him on. And then just positive and negative reinforcement and corrections on the leash, both verbal and physical corrections. I'll do a ha kind of noise when I do a physical correction on the leash as well, so that pretty quick he'll just pay attention to the verbal part and I won't have to give a physical correction on the leash. The other thing you got to really pay attention to with the leash work is not all negative reinforcement, correcting them when they're getting out of line verbally or physically, but giving them positive reinforcement when they're in the right spot and letting them know that they're in the correct spot. So that's a big part of it as well. So we'll get him out here and do a baseline. We've already done a little bit of leash work with him in the past, but we'll just get a baseline of how he's doing, and that's where we'll start. So you can cut that off.